Welcome to Unit 2 of our Road Safety Awareness campaign, Show Respect on the Roads. We're in Unit 2 and we're going to be looking at driving whilst inebriated. And by that we mean drink driving, alcohol driving, or any substance that affects our bodies and minds and our ability to be safe road users. So this is Unit 2 of 6 units. We're going to be looking at alcohol and drug and how prevalent is this problem for drivers or road users. Do we know somebody who's driven under the influence? Have we driven ourselves? What are our experiences? And then we're going to have a look at alcohol specifically and the impact that it has on our ability to be a safe driver. We're going to have a look at how, should we be in an accident that's related to alcohol, what impact could that have? For example, fines, for example, death or injury, and the impact that that has on our family's ability to perhaps earn an income or support ourselves, or perhaps the impact of losing a loved one. We're going to watch some videos and have a look at some case studies. We're going to learn about the fines or perhaps imprisonment related, so rules related to alcohol and driving. We're going to work out some strategies. How can we protect ourselves to be safe on the road and not make mistakes relating to alcohol or drugs as a driver? And then we'll finish by a quiz to check your understanding. So, if we look at some of the data here, we can see that more than a quarter of the accidents on the roads are related to alcohol, 20 to 30%. And when do these accidents happen? Well, if you can have a look, most of them are happening at night time, between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. So if you're a road user, perhaps just a pedestrian walking about the streets, the roads are most dangerous late at night between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. And who is most at risk of falling foul of the alcohol and drug driving laws? It's the younger drivers on the roads, the 18 to 35-year-old. So we can have a look at all of the driving data that we have and alcohol-related accidents and see that almost a quarter of accidents on the roads are alcohol-related. They happen at night and with our younger drivers. So let's ask ourselves a question. I'm going to ask you, how many of us know somebody who has got behind the wheel, who's driven their moto or their tuk-tuk or their car after 2, 3, or 5 drinks? Do you know someone? Okay. Maybe it's a friend or a family member. Perhaps it's even you. I'm not going to ask you to put your hand up, but question yourself. Have you ever got behind the wheel of a car or a moto when you've had one too many drinks? In Cambodia, the legal limit for driving under the alcohol is 0.5 grams of alcohol per litre of blood, or 0.25 per litre of breath. It's a complicated calculation. And there's some inconsistencies in perhaps this being enforced. But for us, it's crucial to understand that alcohol affects people differently. We can't just say one bottle of beer means that you're over the limit, because for some people you are and some people you're not. And factors will affect you and the people sitting next to you in a different way. Perhaps weight or gender, your metabolism, how fast you process food and alcohol. When did you last eat? How much alcohol have you drunk? The time of day that you've drunk the alcohol. and perhaps the strength of your drink. So it's easier for us to say that just one drink is too many. Let's have a think about how alcohol impacts your body and your mind. How does it have an impact on your ability to drive? Well, even after one drink, alcohol affects your reaction times. You're slow to hit the brake. It results in poor decision making. Perhaps you forget to put your seatbelt on. You suddenly change direction. You don't look at your mirrors behind you. Also, poor coordination. You're a little bit clumsy, depending on how many drinks you've had. Poor concentration. Alcohol can make you tired. Poor judgment or poor vision. So even after one drink, slower reaction time, poor decision making, poor coordination, poor concentration, poor judgment and vision. So besides the driver, who else could be impacted by a drunk driving accident? If I ask you, who here has children? Who here has a close relation to their mother, their father? How would you feel if you heard that your daughter had been in an accident, that your daughter had been hit by a drunk driver? How would your parents feel if they learnt that you had hit someone whilst driving under the influence of alcohol? If you had an accident and were left injured and unable to work, how would your family cope? How would they support themselves financially? Let's look at a case study.
ปกติก็ตื่นเช้าแต่วันนี้ตื่นเช้าเป็นพิเศษวันนี้ลูกชายจะขับรถมาจากกรุงเทพมาเยี่ยมค่ะเลยรีบลุกขึ้นมาทำกับข้าวเนี่ยของชอบของเขาทั้งนั้นนี่คงใกล้ถึงแล้ว
สวัสดีครับแม่
นี่กินเหล้ามาเหรอกินหึงใช่เนี่ย
ผมขับรถไปชน10 ล้อที่จอดอยู่ครับ
นี่เป็นยังไงบ้างลูก
ผมไม่ได้เสียชีวิตทันทีหรอกนะครับตายระหว่างนำส่งโรงพยาบาล
ป่ะไม่ต้องพูดละเข้าไปกินข้าวข้างในแม่ทำกับข้าวไว้เยอะแยะเลย
แม่ครับ ขอโทษครับ
แล้วจะไม่กินข้าวด้วยกันก่อนเหรอ
And this son will never eat with his mother again. In the longer version of the video, she continues to cook a meal for her son on the anniversary of his death every year. This son didn't show respect for
ปกติ
himself.
ก็ตื่นเช้า
He didn't
แต่
show
วันนี้
respect for his
ตื่น
mother.
เช้าเป็นพิเศษ
He drank alcohol before getting in the car. And as a result, he had an accident on the
วันนี้
highway.
ลูกชายจะขับรถมาจากกรุงเทพมาเยี่ยมค่ะ
But drink driving can cost more than lives. It's important to understand the fines associated with drink driving. Just one small can of beer can lead to enormous fines and imprisonment. Motorcyclists risk a fine of up to $250. Light vehicles, a fine of up to $500. And heavy vehicles, such as trucks, a fine of up to $1,000. Can you or your family afford those sorts of fines? As well as fines, there may be imprisonment. Imprisonment of up to 6 months in Cambodia. Can your family afford for you not to be working for 6 months? So fines and imprisonment. So here are a few things that we can do to drive more safely on the roads. We can stay sober. We can plan ahead. So for example, if you're going to drink alcohol, leave your keys at home. Say to a friend, can you be the driver? Or use a ride sharing or designated hail app. Perhaps you can order a tuk-tuk, order a car. If you have had a drink, don't get behind your wheel. Use a driver who is safe to drive. Alternatively, you could stay overnight if there's no safe way to get home. So show respect and make good decisions.
Driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs takes lives and destroys families. It is illegal, reckless, and selfish. But do we understand why it is so dangerous? Alcohol affects many of the abilities we need to be safe on the roads. The drunk driver often forgets to wear seatbelts, shows an overconfidence in his driving ability, resulting in speeding. Alcohol causes loss of balance and reduced vision of the driver, failing to clearly see other drivers, pedestrians and cyclists. Alcohol also slows reaction time, reducing the time and space we need to prevent collisions. Alcohol affects our brain and physical abilities in many ways. After only 1 or 2 drinks, we may immediately experience blurred vision, difficulty to move, and slower reaction times. As a general rule, if you drink, don't drive. No matter how experienced or skilled a driver you are, there is simply no excuse for getting behind the wheel when you're drunk. And beware, there is no quick fix. Studies reveal that coffee, sugar or energy drinks are not going to restore your ability to safely operate your vehicle. If you're alone, find a sober designated driver or a taxi to take you home. Share roads safely and responsibly. Don't drink, then drive. Visit the website arrivealive.co.za for more information on the threat of drunk driving to road safety. Driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs takes lives and destroys families. It is illegal, reckless, and selfish. But do we understand why it is so dangerous? Alcohol
Quick
affects
shot of
many of the
caffeine, a
abilities we
coffee,
need to
or
be
a
safe on the
strong
roads.
energy drink.
The drunk driver often
All
forgets to
move
wear
us from being an
seatbelts,
alcohol
shows an
drunk,
overconfidence in his
dangerous
driving
driver
ability,
into
resulting in
being
speeding.
a safe driver,
Alcohol causes
ready to
loss of
use
balance
the road
and
safely.
reduced vision of the driver, failing to clearly
We
see
are
other
told
drivers,
that we should
pedestrians
wait
and cyclists.
1 hour for each
Alcohol
unit
also slows
of each
reaction
small
time,
drink of
reducing the
alcohol.
time and space we
So
need
if you
to
have
prevent
been out
collisions.
tonight before and you have a lot to drink, consider it the next morning. How many drinks did I have?
Alcohol affects our
Have I
brain and
waited
physical
enough
abilities in many
hours?
ways.
Am I now
After
safe
only
to
one
get
or two
behind the
drinks,
wheel?
we may immediately experience blurred
Each body
vision,
will take a
difficulty
different
to
amount
move,
of time
and
to
slower
process
reaction
the
times.
alcohol. But as a rule of
As a
thumb,
general
you
rule,
need to wait
if you drink,
at least an
don't
hour
drive.
for each
No matter how
small
experienced
drink
or
that
skilled a
you've had.
driver you
And
are,
by that,
there is
that would
simply
be a
no
bottle of
excuse for
beer.
getting behind the wheel when you're drunk.
Whereas a stronger
And
drink,
beware,
such as
there is no
spirit
quick
and
fix.
vodka,
Studies reveal that coffee, sugar, or energy drinks
So,
are not going to restore
look
your
for a
ability
quick
to safely
fix.
operate your vehicle.
This isn't a solution.
If you're
It will
alone,
not
find
make
a
you
sober
safe to
designated
drive.
driver or a taxi to take you.
Now let's test our understanding. We're going to do a Kahoot quiz. So you can choose to either use the QR code and log on to this quiz, or on the next slide, the quiz appears. It's a simple 5-part true and false to see if you've understood the content of Unit 2. And I'll remind you, before we come to the end of this question, respect life. Don't drink and drive. So, 1 or 2 drinks won't affect your ability to drive safely. True or false? This is false. It will affect your ability to drive safely. Alcohol impairs your ability to judge speed and distance. Yes, we've learned that is true. Your braking time is slower. You don't realize a car coming towards you at quite the speed. Next one, number 3. Most accidents involving alcohol are minor. This is indeed false. They usually have a huge collision, often ending in serious injury. They are critical accidents and may involve a death. Number 4, using a designated driver or a ride-sharing app to hail a tuk-tuk or a car is an easy way to avoid drunk driving. Yes, indeed, this is true. And driving after drinking only puts the driver at risk. False. It puts you at risk. It puts your passengers at risk. It puts the other road users at risk. And it puts your family at risk for having to live without you or support you whilst you are injured or indeed have died. So 5 questions. Hopefully you got them all correct. So I want to say a few words before we wrap up. By completely avoiding alcohol and drugs before you drive, you are showing respect for your life and the lives around you. Alcohol might be fun. It might be a way to celebrate. It might be normal. But alcohol, drugs, and driving can cost lives. An alcohol-related accident can change your lives and the lives of those around you, not just this year, but forever. A reminder to complete your checklist for this month. This month in Unit 2, your company vehicles and company drivers will be being checked that they are compliant and safe. Thank you and congratulations. You have completed Module 2 of the Road Safety course.